Hey, baby. Welcome to the IC109 podcast. This is gonna be a groovy shindig. Welcome, pimps, players, women of the night, and anybody else interested in 109.
1 2 1 2. Bracket. Pick up, pick up. Oh, what in the world?
You're at 109 right now.
That's right. Trying to get it together. Just learned about a very famous black arts movement ancestor. His name was Larry Neal. Together, we are Larry Neal. I'm Larry, and Justin is his last name is Neal, so he's Neal, Larry Neal. This is gonna be the Larry Neal podcast, or at least the Larry Neal episode, or whatever inspired by Larry Neal. Got a few things to get off my chest. I was just messaging Neil, and let me tell him, oh man. All right, so he's with the family right now. He can't come to the phone, so I guess I have to just run off of not Steam, maybe Steam, and just let you guys know what's up. So, let me preface what I have to say by saying Amanda Seals said something to the effect, if you celebrate Thanksgiving, then you are identifying with your colonizers, because the colonizers are the one who created this Thanksgiving holiday anyway. By the way, Thanksgiving was yesterday. This is being recorded on November 28th, 2025 at 6:42 Pacific Standard Time. Now, back to the regularly scheduled program.
You're at 109 right now.
Let's see. Yeah, so the colonizer situation, we're not trying to be colonized. We're trying to express ourselves freely, free Negro thought, free Negro thinking. Um, as I said, this is an episode dedicated to or inspired by the Black Arts Movement by Larry Neal. Also, Leroy Jones, scratch that, nix that, Amiri Baraka, Dominique DePrima's father. Peace and blessings. Um, let's see. So yeah, to start it off, Amanda Seals was like, "Yo, man, um, that Thanksgiving stuff, you eating the turkey and all that kind of stuff, that's colonizer BS. You fall in line with that, you're not a revolutionary." And then that's what the tradition is over here at the IC109 podcast.
You're at 109 right now.
It's about revolutionary spirit, revolutionary spirit in progress, right? RSIP. I don't know. I'm working on it, just an idea. But here's the thought. Here's the train of thought. Right, we're on a train now, moving, right? Can't be neutral on a moving train. So, um, oh, and before I get into today's visit to Manhattan Beach, to Bruce's Beach, I want to say before I went to Bruce's Beach, I watched a video by this guy named Marquette. His Marquette is his name. Marquet, Marquette. And he's a dope brother. And he was, let me get him, let me pull him up here. He was talking to a Nigerian fella who couldn't keep up with him. Here it is. Marquette. That little advertisement pulled up right here. Don't want to. All right. His, his channel? Yeah, I guess it is. It's Marquette for Women. At Marquette for Women, all one word. Marquette, Marquett for Women, FOR Women. Okay, so the brother is dope. because he was basically trying to talk to the Nigerian cat. He calls him a tether. Marquette calls the Nigerian a tether. Like, you know, I'm not so hip to that term. I'm gonna have to ask Big Mike to explain that one to me. I'm kind of familiar with it, but I'm not wholly sold on it yet because I haven't done my research and I'm not, but I can dig it. So, um, Marquette is a foundational Black American. I mean, I guess I already get what a tether is when you compare a foundational Black American to a tether. Like, you're only in the country because visas, job opportunities, or whatever. You're not invested as foundational Black Americans, American descendants of slavery, et cetera, et cetera. So anyway, Marquette was grilling him. He was like, "Listen, here's the facts. Let's just talk facts." But the Nigerian brother was like, you could see him just like struggling to answer his questions straight on, head on. It was like, "What, man?" Like, and he was just eating them up. As far as I can see, it might have been a 2 hour video, and I saw 45 minutes to 50 some odd minutes of it. And he was just like, man, this dude isn't keeping it real. And the way I imagine it being like, let's say let's say you're taught, all right, this is the church, you need to come to the church. And by the way, the Nigerian brother he's a pastor, he's a leader, religious leader, right? So imagine you come to the church, come to the pastor. He tells you all of this BS, and you have questions about it. Like, let me ask you about this and that and that. And he tells you you're blessed or just leave. Don't ask any questions. Keep it pushing. And you're just left struggling there like, I don't get it. But this is how the whole system operates. Don't ask questions, just follow and do, and we're done. And yeah. So it sounds like the white preachers, the white overseers who let the Nigerian brother in, basically had him say, listen, it's your responsibility to organize your people, or rather the people who are like you, under the same nonsense that we are spewing to our people. So you get in front of them, we bless you and give you, ordain you. Now you go spread this bull crap. And if anyone asks for any questions, you dismiss them and let them know, you know, keep praying or whatever and just whatever. And the cycle, rinse and repeat, it just keeps going and going and going. It's like, we're not getting anywhere with that. I mean, the system itself is sustained. If you don't rock the boat, the system is just going to keep rocking on, keep moving on. But if you want to grow individually, if you want to grow a society, if you want a society to be dynamic, then you don't want to stifle anyone. You want there to be, new movements and new things happening. And it's not so much that those new things are going to the um, threaten the the livelihood of the tradition. What will happen inevitably is the structure, is the individuals in the structure who are at the top, for instance, are going to have to step aside, step down. Well, what did Pac say? Step aside while them real niggas ride. That step aside while them real niggas ride. And it's always going to be a change in command, but the life of the unit, the tradition is going to live on because the innate goal of any individual in the system is to preserve it. Maybe not preserve it how it looks, but preserve it in terms of, hey, it served us, and in the future, it will continue to serve us if we let it evolve, if we let it develop. Okay, that was a lot. But yeah, so the Nigerian cat seemed like he was just trying to preserve his position in the system, not so much promote the development of the learning of the gospel. Right? Remember, I was reminded, so I'm telling my listeners to remember also, I listened to a TikTok video, and the TikToker made a simple statement. He said they were reading out of the same Bible, the slave master and Nat Turner. Slave master told Nat Turner to obey the slave master. And if he disobeyed the slave master, he was subject to be killed, right? Well, Nat Turner read the Bible and interpreted the Bible as in saying, kill the slave master. So it was like, well, who do you side with? There are two sides there, and you really, as a black person, you've got to decide who do you side with? Whose side are you on? Right? So, what next? So I went to Manhattan Beach today. Went to Manhattan Beach, and it was Uber that brought me to Manhattan Beach. So I went as far as the valley north, and then I came back down south to the beach, Manhattan Beach, before making my way back home. I was glad that I got fares, Uber fares, right? I had a passenger going up north, and then I had a passenger going down south. So they took care of all the travel, right? That was good. Um, so I ended up in Manhattan Beach. I go to Bruce's Beach, and I did a little bit of exercising, a little bit of what taking a photo here and there, and posting a video to TikTok and what have you. And then I spent some time at the placard, at the Bruce's Beach placard, and I learned the history. I read the history. I read all of the panels on this display that explained the history of Bruce's Beach. And something struck me, something dawned on me while I was there. It was like, like the one thing that really hit me was how big an area, how much land they actually had, you know. So Bruce's Beach, like from the beach to the street, I believe the street is Highland. Like that's a tremendous amount of space. And I learned that not only did the Bruce family, not only did they own a plot of that land, but there were several other black families that owned plots as well. So basically, the Bruces came in, they bought their plot of land on the beach because they wanted to make it a resort for black people because segregation was in full effect, and blacks were relegated to certain parts. Can't come over here. This is whites only. Stay over there. And so the Bruces made their way where they could be, and they purchased their land legally. And then there were other black families that came and purchased land surrounding their plot. And so this amount of space, this amount of land that had been purchased by black families was it's a lot of space. It's a lot of space. And what's really fascinating is when I think about my travels to other countries, and I can name so many of them from the Philippines to Panama to Thailand to um Peru, and like everywhere that I've ever been, I've always noticed that families have set up shop, have their little businesses going. And basically, that's what we were doing. The black community in America, we were going to get a plot of land and then set up our little businesses, right? And it was just the natural thing to do. But it was apparent then, and it's apparent now. What was apparent then is that we were unwanted. It, the displays at the beach, they explain that. There was pressure from the community, surrounding community, hostile whites, no trespassing, don't come over here. You got to walk all the way around. You can't come straight to the beach. We had to walk a half a mile to get to that location. You had to walk around. It was a headache. Um, that was apparent back then. There's evidence. They speak of that treatment, that terrorism that you receive from the white settlers, right? And then um today, an extension of the racism, the proof of racism today is that that whole area that would have been black is empty today. It's just empty. Like the idea that the city would say, "Oh well, the city is using that space." Well, forget all of that. The city needs to find another space that they can occupy. And yeah, they should have returned the land. I know they did some good things. I think they compensated the family 2023 maybe, 2020 22, 23, 24, I don't know. 22 or 23. Like, they were compensated, but there were a number of families that should have been compensated. And for that section to be empty today because it's a park, because dude, that's always the plan. Everywhere there's a park, there's a lake, it was a black community in America. Everywhere there was a park or lake, not every single place, but like a lot of lakes and a lot of parks were formerly black communities. And the fact that they are empty today and that blacks are not in those spaces is evidence of today's racism, is evidence of the continuation of the racism. The racist the racist action that was taken in the past persists to today. It's upheld by the fact that those spaces are not either given to you know, to blacks or yeah, because I'm looking around and I'm really just looking at it and I'm saying it was for the settlement. It was for the settlers. And it's even more clear to me because you had Beverly Hills, which was owned by Afro Latina, and she owned all of Beverly Hills until the white settlers came in. And basically, governance changed. You had Spain. This was New Spain. Spain controlled California. And so for that area, she was a Spaniard, a Californio, and so she was a Spaniard in on Spain's land. Therefore, she could settle there. And of course, before she settled there, the natives, that was all native land. No one had taken on ownership, right? So here comes Maria, forgot her name, Maria Valdez Villa, Maria Rita Villa, Maria Rita Valdez Villa. Um, so anyway, here she comes in and she takes the ownership. And then governance change. America is expanding. America is taking over, and America comes and declares California a part of the Union. Now, the Californio, who is a subject, a citizen of the crown, the Spanish crown, now has to contend with this imposing nation called America that promotes white people and whiteness. And she's not. She's obviously not white. She's an Afro Latino. Her father was African, a black man, and she's Spanish, so she doesn't fit. So she has to sell her land. She's pressured, perhaps, to sell her land to the new settlers, and then as time passes, then you have all these white people in this area that at one time were not there. So you just think about Israel, Palestine, and Gaza or Gaza, and you look at California, and you look at Los Angeles, and you're like, oh, this is how this is how the westward expansion occurs. Like what's happening? I haven't heard anyone say it, but this is the same thing. Westward expansion. This is the United States, United States, expanding, to Hassa. That's what this is. We're still watching. This is still the westward ho. But we're going in the easterly, direction perhaps, or it's west of the demarcation line from where Israel, and it's still going west from the sea to the, how that saying, whatever that saying is, from the sea to the east, or I don't know how it goes, man. Haven't been paying attention. Been paying attention enough, but from what I see that Manhattan Beach is a settlement. I see that very clearly now. So I'm just like, you know, I'm really looking for the real. What's the real deal? I see people and I'm like, that's fake. You have a job, you have an opportunity right now. So you just do your job and then you run back to your home to eat your little meal, go to your little gym. You're not connected to the land. Your family doesn't have 200 plus years of history here in all sorts of facets, in all sorts of ways, in all sorts of manners. You know, life is just really interesting, and it's really interesting to see, to observe it. Um, Going back to Larry Neal, the Black Arts movement. So you can look at my podcast, YouTube channel, or website, blog site. It's all art. It's all an expression. So right in the Black Arts movement, um, right in line with the Black Arts movement and yeah, Black Liberation movement. That's what it's all about. Today I'm wearing my Black Panther t-shirt. There was a white woman who saw the shirt and she said, "I like your shirt." I don't know if, like, you know what? Let me say this. I don't know that white woman. She's white though, but that doesn't really mean anything. You know, I don't know what her politics are. I walked into the business and there was, nothing but white people in Santa Monica picking up an order. But I'm not so ignorant to dismiss a person or to think, poorly of them because they are not, melanated, not black. No, she might have been the most righteous sister, during the 60s, during her heyday. Like, yo, I was down. I'm always down for a revolution. I'm always down for the people, Like, wow, you the coolest white lady around. Like, sure enough, for real, for real. But she did see my shirt. And I have on my T-shirt. I have Bobby Seale and Huey P. Newton, and they're both holding guns. That famous picture, and it says the Black Panther Party. It's dope. It's a real dope T-shirt. So I was just doing my thing, doing my little Morgan Freeman driving Miss Daisy thing today. Had a number of white women in my car. They were talking about having parties, and at least Mr. Chow's name was mentioned. Mr. Chow, Asian restaurateur in Beverly Hills. I know of him because Jean Michel Basquiat would frequent Mr. Chow's restaurant quite often. It was like his favorite spot. You have to have money to go there. Maybe when I get maybe when I have a few $1,000s to splurge, I might spend some time at the Beverly Hills Hotel and then eat at Mr. Chow's. That'll be something else. Yep. Um. Yeah, but it's really apparent that racism was real because look at the Bruce's Beach. Like, look at it now. Look at it today. Read the information. And I was just like kind of floored. Like, dang man, that was some serious stuff. And all we were trying to do was have it. Now, here's the point. Here's another conclusion I looked at. I'm like, look, that was 113 years ago. Right? It was 1912, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it was 1912 when they bought that land. 113 years ago, black families were ready to get established in America, in California, in Los Angeles. 113 years ago, they were ready to get established and they were denied. And I'm 46 years old and barely have a bite to piss in. You know, I don't own a home. I'm paying for my car. Um, I'm lucky if I get work on a daily basis from a substitute job with the city of Los Angeles Unified School District. You know, I don't have thousands. I've had I've had thousands of dollars in my bank account, but my circumstances have always been so precarious that I wasn't able to maintain it, hold on to it. Now, 113 years is how long those white families have been able to get established and then pass down from generation every 20 years. Put 20 years to figure out how they're going to grow their wealth. Yeah. And and the rug has been pulled from the Negro over 113 years. Just specifically 113 because we're looking at the Bruce's family. But we know that the Negro has been in America 400, 500 years now, and the rug, consistently is being pulled right from under him. So we're on some racism is still alive, y'all. Come on, man. Like, there's so much land at Bruce's Beach. Like, I would love to see a weekend where all black, good, career minded, good, black men and women, families, whatever, show up at Bruce's Beach, kind of like Freaknik, but not so freaky. A number of vendors, black vendors. This is just the major, a major cookout right there at Bruce's Beach. Like, just take over all of that land. That's a tremendous amount of space. You know how much money, how many dollars that would generate, for those black businesses and for those, and that's incredible. That is truly incredible. But we already do that with something called Buy the Black. Excuse me, Buy the Black. Man, Black on the Block. Black on the Block. I participated in Black on the Block. It's probably like, damn, it's like 2 years now. No, I couldn't be. If I did it in 2024 and we're going into 2026, yeah, it's been like 2 years. It's over a year. It's been over a year. Those are my thoughts. Bruce's Beach, Larry Neal, racism is still alive, the Black Panthers. What else did I touch? Manhattan Beach, driving for Uber. It's my life right now. A little bit of money. Gotta still, you know, scrap. Gotta scrape up some ends from different places. I'm going to Japan on Sunday. I'm going back to Japan. I'm gonna eat some Japanese ramen, udon noodles. I'm gonna go to Gyukaku in Japan. I've been seeing Gyukaku. I mean, it's always been here. It's been here in on La Brea, no, on La Cienega in Beverly Hills. And the way they make it look like it's so fly that you could never eat there. I mean, you'd have to spend hundreds of dollars and stuff. And because it's in Beverly Hills, that's the impression that I get. But when I went to Gyukaku a few months ago, I was in Fukuoka, and that spot looked all run down from the outside. It was just like it was just like this. Ugh, it was like some college students were running the joint, and it wasn't really impressive. I mean, what I ate and how the food was served was just like it was just like I'm guessing it was just like mediocre for Japanese standards. It was nothing like really, really supreme, like, oh, they put a lot of effort into this. But what I will say is that the meats were choice. You could have some fine meats. It was delicious, but the way it was put together and the way and where the restaurant was located, it was all like, man, that looks like a sizzler. Yep, that's what that looks like. Red Lobster is kind of sizzler, Red Lobster, okay, kind of like that. But I mean, in Beverly Hills, in Beverly Hills, it's giving It's a unique, you know, experience that you once in a lifetime experience that you can only have in Beverly Hills, California. No, man. You go to Japan, you can find that restaurant on the corner. Like, man, it ain't nothing. Yeah, so on Sunday, inshallah, God willing, I'll be on that plane headed to Japan, make some videos and all that other kind of good stuff, you know? All right. That was my day in Manhattan Beach, Ubering. I was Ubering for like 2, maybe 3 hours. Made some pretty good money. You have to just keep going, keep hitting it, you know, keep driving, stay on the road. That's how you do it. All right, y'all.
You're at 109 right now.
Let me get one of those outros going on again. Here we go. Yeah.
Hey, baby. Welcome to the IC109 podcast. This is gonna be a groovy shindig.
It was, y'all.
Welcome, pimps, players, women of the night, and anybody else interested in 10-9.
Thank you for listening, y'all. Peace and blessings, and I'm out.